Hello, Stacy. How you doing? Long time no see. Oh, boy. Robert, how you doing? Let's wait for Paul. Paul sent me a video, and there's some things I want to address on it. And by the way, I'm rewriting those pages for you. I'm on almost done the first section. I should have it all done tonight and send it to you tomorrow morning. So when you get the new PDFs, you want to keep the old ones, whatever, but the new ones, I'm going to put an A on it. Okay, Master Studies Part 1A, or the page is A, okay, so you know the difference. Okay, anybody have any questions on the downstroke, the tap, the upstroke? I just want to say a few things about that. When I first started, nobody really ever taught me the downstroke, the tap, or the upstroke, or anything like that. Then I hooked up with a guy who taught me a seesaw method, like so. Be very tight, very stiff, and play like this. That was called the Adler system. For example, if I was doing a 5-stroke roll, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which was totally ridiculous. So, you know, and I would practice and practice and practice and try to get faster and cleaner, but I had a stop sign in front of me that would prevent me from getting cleaner and faster and playing for a longer period of time, because I couldn't play for a long period of time because I wasn't relaxed. Eventually, when I was doing single strokes like this, I was going, trying to get them out, and that was ridiculous. That created a whole lot of tension. Okay, so let's wait. I'm early. Paul sent me a video. He did a nice job. Waiting on the other guys, okay? So like I said, tomorrow morning, sometime tomorrow morning, or maybe even later tonight, I don't know yet, you're going to be getting, you're going to be getting new PDFs, okay? I want to talk about the full stroke first, like I tried to this afternoon. When I make a full stroke, if you see the distance from the top of my stick to the drum pad or impact, it's like that. The distance is the same, and all I did was throw the stick down and followed it back and stopped it. So in essence, or in reality, you're actually playing the drums with your hands. The stick is an extension of your hand. That's it. I get a consistent sound because my starting point is always the same. Now my downstroke should give me the same volume as the downstroke should give me the same volume as the full stroke because of the distance. But what I'm doing when I do a downstroke, I'm stopping or preventing the stick from coming up. I hit it in the wrong place. Okay, so if I do free stroke, downstroke, sound the same. I'm not tense, I don't grab it, I stop it. But look at the height of my stick. I'm in position to do a tap and then an upstroke. Now the tap and the upstroke sound the same. Free stroke, downstroke, tap, upstroke. Free stroke, downstroke, tap, upstroke. I get those 4 different elements there. Now it's very basic. If you guys ever should happen to study with Jeffrey Johnson on Skype, or if you're in Virginia, or I guess he's in Richmond, go see him. He's the author of the level system. He'll get in depth with you. See, I'm doing the basic concept of the full stroke, the downstroke, the tap, and the upstroke. But I can make my full stroke from here, my downstroke from there, tap, up, back to the full stroke, depending on what I'm playing and what kind of sound I would like. But basically, it's the full stroke, the downstroke, the tap, and the upstroke. Now, you should make a daily, how you doing, Horst? You should make a daily diet of at least 1 through 5 or 1 through 6 in full strokes with the vamp on page 5. Now, Hoist, I wasn't upset this afternoon, but when I said, you're kidding me, you've been taking lessons for a while. You have the stick control book formula. You have the syncopation book formula. You don't know what a D means. If I'm here, this is my full stroke. If I'm going D, that means a downstroke. If I go T, it's a tap. If I go U, it's an upstroke. Or this is a free stroke or a downstroke, tap, up. F means free stroke, D means downstroke, T means tap, U means upstroke. Do you understand that, Moist? Yes? No? All right, like I said, I've been working on rewriting all those pages. I think there was 17 pages. I'm almost finished the first section, section 1, part 1. Hopefully I get it finished by this evening or a little bit early tomorrow morning, and you could have them before the 1 p.m. lesson. So let's take out Master Studies Part 1. Now I made them all look so nice and neat. Everything is under there. And I had done each one 3 or 4 times before I wrote out the sticking pattern, the levels, the control strokes. Now you understand. Hey, Paul, nice video, man. Thank you. But we're going to talk a little bit about that to everyone, okay? Not just your video, but we're going to address a few issues. And everybody has a tendency to do this. And it's not natural. It's an uncertainty, right? Understanding. And where you want to go with some of these exercises before you even hit the Master Studies Part 1 is remember the accent exercises? 1 and 2 and. Now notice when I did that, I'm accenting 1, 2, 3, 4. And my and is the upstroke. Down, up. Now a lot of people go like this. Down, up. You see they make a preliminary move. I exaggerated it somewhat. But it's down and people go up and they get a terrible sound. You have to train yourself down. You leave it in that position, up from that position. Down, up, down, up. You're getting 2 sounds consistent. Same thing with the left. Down, up, down. That's important. You guys want some chops? You want to develop some really nice, clean, fast chops. We're not really after a whole lot of speed. We're after a nice sound, a nice musical sound. So the whole thing is to be totally relaxed. No tension whatsoever. No tightening of the muscles. You know, a friend of mine, he's right around the corner here. Bill Maglarini, I guess his name is. And he studied with Joe Morello as well. And he has a book out, Tension-Free Drumming. Well, I don't know, it's the same thing we're teaching you. But I don't use no tension whatsoever. So now, like I said, I'm rewriting it. Let's go to Master Studies Part 1, Number 1. And I'm going to really dissect this. Now, I look at it and I say, okay, my first 2 eighth notes are accented, and the sticking is right-left, and the second measure is left-right. So what has to happen here? My both hands are in the full stroke position. My first stroke is a downstroke. My second stroke is a free stroke. My third stroke, tap. Fourth stroke, tap. 3 and 4. Oh, don't tell me I fucked up again. No, I didn't. Oh, God. Hold on. Yeah, I did. All right. I have to fix that too. That's not a problem. Oh, yeah, boonga. Let's see who we got here. Paul. Now, what pressure? What pressure, man? You know, you call pressure playing with Miles Davis, Bill Evans rather, Ron Carter, and you on drums at Carnegie Hall. That's pressure. You're practicing. There's no pressure. You're in front of a camera. You make a mistake, so what? It's for me to review and talk to you about it. But the preliminary and the sticking heights were close, but not on the money. The thing is to do it slow. The first one, I'm not looking to get speed. I'm looking to hit it so it's consistent in sound. Down, up, tap, tap, 3, and 4. And no preliminary, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And I'll hang out with that for quite a while. And that gives me, when I do it slow, what that does, what happened to my phone? There you go. What happens, we're on, Stacy. Master Studies Part 1. That's the Master Studies page, I think it's 5 or 6. Yeah, 5. The one I sent you, the PDF with the levels, the down taps and ups and all that stuff. Now, when you're doing something slow, what do we got here? Well, Paul, look, when you're recording something, I mean, if you go to a recording studio and you're paying for the recording time, it's a little bit of pressure because you don't want to make no mistakes. You know, you want it to come out right. When you're doing, first off, when I first started to practice in front of a mirror, I could see my mistakes. Now it's upgraded to now take a video and watch yourself. That's all you're doing. There's no pressure. You're not trying to, I know that, you don't misunderstand this, impress anybody, all right? Or make sure you're totally correct so I approve of it. Don't be that way. Play it. That's all you have to do. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Just play it the way you're supposed to and it'll come out right. Clear the mind. When I do line number 1, don't worry about nervousness. You know, what you want to do with the first one, watch me. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now, if I'm filming that, that's all I'm worried about is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm not worried, okay, excuse me, about what everybody's thinking. I'm not even worried about what I'm playing. I'm concentrating on what I'm playing. You know, you're not going to just open a book and do that. By practicing it slow, you're not, what's the term? You're putting it inward, innate, all right? You're making the exercise. 1, and. It gives me a chance to listen to my sound. 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So while I'm playing it that slow, I'm making a decision. Did I play that right a little bit heavier than the left? If I did, when it comes around again, I'm going to equalize it. That's what you should worry about, or get to. But worry sounds like, I don't know, some insanity. Don't worry about anything, Paul. Just play. Now, if you want to play it like that, start here. Play that for 2 minutes without a mistake. Now you're accomplishing something. No problem. Well, all right, so you're trying to make it right, which is good. And you make a mistake, that's fine. I'd rather you not trim anything out or edit anything. Let me see your mistakes and we'll talk about it. So maybe we could talk about the mistakes and prevent them. That's a good thing, Paul. Okay? Now, you want to do this, you want a good set of hands, you have to pay your dues to this book or other books with the same concept. Okay? I really prefer this book, Accents and Rebounds, Stick Control, Master Studies 1, Master Studies 2. That's Chopsville, man. There is no other way. And when I say that, it's strong because I know. I've been through a lot of different books. They're all saying the same thing as these guys, but in a different approach or in a different way. You know, we're not playing to a tune. We're not learning coordination. We've had the lessons like that. We're going to get back to them, but we're learning how to train your hands so you can control them. That's why they're called controlled strokes. So if you did line 1 for 2 or 3 minutes slowly, here, if I put the metronome on, let's terrorize me, or here. Now this is slow. Now this is actually, I'm going to count the tick as the 8th note. Listen to how slow. So it's at 50. So if I count the tick as the 8th note, it's really 25, the quarter note. Watch this. 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now that's at 50, each count an 8th note. It's not, well, you could accept it as a challenge. You're not holding up no lesson. When I give you, when I talk to you about something, it's for everybody to grasp, to get it. I'm not directing one subject to you. It's a subject we talk about. Now, let's do line 1. I'm not going to do it for a minute, but you should do it at this tempo once you feel it. Line 1, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now, like I said, I'm not going to do it for 3 minutes, but if you do that every day for a minute and go to the next one at the same tempo, but first get familiar with what's going on, what's a tap, what's a downstroke, a free stroke, so on and so forth. Get familiar with that and then challenge it at 50. You get it going on, you're going to make some mistakes. So what? You make a mistake, you learn by it. You should anyway. So you, at that tempo, it's that slow. It's going to go around that slow, and you're going to correct your mistake that you made last time. You just keep doing it over and over and over again. And that's at 50. That's a good home. This is number 2. You're going to 1, and, I'm sorry, number 2. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now, I'm not going to keep playing these that slow, but the point is, if you keep doing it every day, each one, hey, you got 6 of them. That's 6 minutes of practicing. You make a mistake, so what? If you don't want to film it, that's okay. Put yourself in front of a mirror and you'll see your hands. And don't let it distract you from the exercise or the tempo or the sound. So that's a couple different things going on. It takes a lot of coordination, of discipline and concentration. You understand it, guys? Do line 1 through 6, 1 minute. You should do actually 1 through, what was that, 12? That's the first 12. Do the first 12. All right? Look at 6 through 12, 7 through 12. You guys have the sheets? Anyone in particular you'd like me to go over? Don't think this is boring, because, it seems boring, but once you get into this and you start working at it, you're going to be surprised at what happens to your hands. Any particular, from 1 through 12, any one that you're not certain of, you'd like me to go through, and like I said, you're going to get this tomorrow, the new PDFs. Anyone in particular? I don't want to spend a whole lot of time because you don't have the PDFs correct, and that's my fault. So I made a mistake, I admit it. I make my mistake, I do something about it, correct it, and make it right. Simple. Same thing when you're practicing. Anyone in particular you would like? Everybody understands it. Do it slow. It is boring for me. Well, it is boring at a time. You know, doing full strokes every day, that's a routine. I hate that. But you need to do it. Now, I demonstrated an exercise to develop a little bit of endurance this afternoon. It's the exercise where it is the again, I don't have the stick control book. It's where I'm playing 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and a vamp. All right, let me get the book. I believe, excuse me, it's page 13. Get the stick control book, get to page 13. Guys, please. Ning-a-nanga, boom, boom. Page 13, we're going to develop an endurance. We're going to start at 100. You guys could hit it at 100. It's the one that has the 4 measure increment. The one that has 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4. 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 and 2 E and 3 E and back E and 1. Get that one, guys? On page 13, Robert, Stacy, what happened? Jesus. Hold on. Boy, oh boy. All right, on page 13, okay, guys? Now, we're going to do it at 100. All right, we're going to do it at 100. Just the first line. It's the right hand lead. Now, that fourth measure is just single strokes. It's 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So you have 3 measures like this. And then that fourth measure, 3 E and 4 E and So you keep doing 4 measures over and over again. Okay? I'm gonna put it on, okay, for 1 minute. And I'm going to play it for just a minute, but this time, when I get to the fourth measure, I'm going to tag a vamp. I'm going to tag a vamp on it. So we did the last the 2 measures. All right, the last measure would be 1 E and 2, the 3 E and 4 E vamp. Now, what am I going to use for a vamp? Well, I'm going to use the single strokes. 1 E and 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, back, and 1, and 2, and. You got it? Let's try it at 100. I'm going to do it for a minute. Two, three, four, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, back. Vamp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, over, 1, 2. Vamp, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that was 1:08 seconds. That's the second part of the exercise with the vamp. The third part of that exercise, and you can do this to every line. I'm just demonstrating line number 1. What I do, and I'm going to set the timer 4 minutes. I'm going to do that again. Well, actually, no, I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to play the vamp twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, vamp. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, back. 1, 2. Vamp. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3. Now, that's part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is without the vamp. Part 2 is with the vamp. Like I said, I'm going to do that twice. Okay? Then, after the second time, I'm just going to go with the vamp for 3 minutes, 4 minutes. That means I'm going to be playing this nice and relaxed for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, guys? We understand it? Stacy, Paul, Hoist, and Robert. Do we understand it? All right, let's do it. Only twice, then I'm going to extend the vamp. Vamp, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3. Back. One, 2. Now we're just going to extend the vamp. I'm going to accent the first stroke. 2. Now just play this for 3 minutes, 4 minutes. You're going to get tired. Different heights. The left hand's going numb. All right, that was for 2 minutes. I'm not getting tired, just my left hand is getting a little numb. But you do that for 3-4 minutes, and you're gonna get tired. If once you feel any kind of stress, like I just did with my left hand, because of my pinky thing, it gets numb. No tension in the right arm or left arm. Just let the stick flow. And you could also do any sticky notes. You could do the quarter strokes, to half strokes, to full strokes. For 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And wait until you see what you do what your hands feel like after a few times you do that, a few days or a week. You'll be amazed. It develops your endurance. You're experiencing some stress sometimes or muscle tension. You're learning how to release it. And you're developing an exercise for 3 or 4 minutes. And before you know, you want to go 10 minutes, which I've done it many, many times. It's not musical. I'm not playing any kind of tune. I'm not playing a jazz concept or a rock pattern or a funk pattern. I'm developing my hands so that I can play whatever I want to play, when I want to play it, to whatever speed I'm capable of doing. Now, does that make any sense to you guys? We get it? Now that's going to develop some nice hands. I know everybody here wants some nice hands. Your hands should be pretty loose after doing that. Oh, come on. I need a flat bar to take this thing off. Come on. Hold on. Hiya, boonga. There you go. So let's hang out with the drums a little bit. Let's have some fun. Ay, 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 ay. After the pad, the drums feel nice. See what the 16s do? And don't forget the table of time, guys. Work on that every day, at least up to the groups of 6. Okay? Now, what I need to do is I have to go back to work here and finish that for everybody. Now, if I make a mistake, don't throw apples at me or tomatoes or whatever. There might be a mistake here. That's a lot of writing, okay? And sometimes my mind gets distracted, which is my fault, not your fault. So if you need, you will get them tomorrow sometime, hopefully maybe tonight. I doubt that, but try tomorrow morning. What's good about the mistakes is when you're playing it, it's telling you what to do. And you go, wait a minute. If you're tapping and you should be up, well, you're learning by the mistake. Okay? That you know that if it's saying T, tap, and you should be upstroke, then you know there is a mistake that I made, and I could always use that could be a jive as and say, well, I made the mistakes intentionally so that you can correct them. And that's pretty jive. Don't you think so? Okay, back to work. First dinner. Thank you, Stacy. Everybody has it. If you have any questions, email me. practice, guys. Thank you, Stacy, for your sending me the triplets. Thank you, Paul, for sending me the triplets and making a video. And we'll see what happens to everybody else. The more you write something, you're inside of it, and you learn a lot more. I've had students from Australia who never wrote anything, and they start writing it, and they went out and bought a program, as a matter of fact, and they wrote it and sent it to me. And they say, man, it's helped me play. And it does, because you're mentally in tune. Okay. Guys, have a great night. Any questions? See you tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Good night, everybody. Well, I appreciate you coming. It sure is helpful, Paul. It makes you get in tune to what you're doing. Now, if I said, write out the levels on page, Memorella book from 1 to 6, you'd be surprised what happens to you. You see, I should not send that to you with the control strokes, the downstroke, the tap. You have to find that. That's part of the learning. But I want to make it easier for you. And, you know, it's going to help you. Yeah, you're going to get stronger. All right, not as strong as you should have gotten by you figuring it out. That's the journey. But you're going to figure it out anyway, so you got it now. Okay. Mozart wrote the music. He sure did. So does Beethoven and Bach. Bach is my favorite. Anybody ever listened to Bach? Anybody ever studied Bach, the history of Bach? He come out with the inventions. That man was insane. I don't know if he was able to play it, but man, I took a couple of his inventions and the concept of his inventions and did it with stick control. That is outrageous. Okay, guys. Nighty night. May the stick control books